Oh, there we go.
All right.
What'd you say?
Okay, record live.
I call this meeting to order at 6:01. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'm going to call the roll for the seating members to determine a quorum. I will start on my left.
Mark Courier.
Peg Heard.
David Carpus.
Bob Carrier.
Larry Brown.
Thomas McDougall.
Tammy Smith.
Justin Bell.
And Aaron's here somewhere. Okay, we have a quorum. Tonight we're going to be reviewing the town warrant articles and recommendations will follow. But before we do that, we need to go in for disclosure. There's been a citizen who has asked that believes that there is conflict of interest on this board, and what I have done is I called the attorney on this to see, and I'm going to be asking members. We're going to have to disclose those members. I'll have to do it for the selectmen, and I'm doing it for the public, and I'll have to do it in writing. Now, a citizen came in who inquired about the disclosures and the conflict of interest. So what he has done is talk to the town administrator. I got a call and I came in, and what you have before you is the chapter 31. This is Code of Ethics. Now, what I am going to do is we're going to name people and what they are doing. I will say this, Peg, are you getting a stipend from the deputy? Are you the deputy treasurer?
Yes.
Okay, you're getting the stipend.
Mileage. I haven't.
Okay, but it's still getting money.
Yep.
Okay. I'll start with that. I'm going to start with you, and it's going to be the same for the rest, but I'm going to make sure everybody knows who is getting something here and how to go about this. Okay. Now, I talked to the attorney on the LGC, and I put everything out there, what everybody's doing, who's getting a stipend, and who's getting something or something of interest. Now, what I was told is that when it comes to the budget, you would have to not vote on the bottom line of the treasurer. You can be involved in any of the budgets, but you cannot. It'd be advisable to recuse yourself from there.
Okay.
Okay? Now, this is for the town. Tammy Smith, you're the brother-in-law of Pat Smith. Sister-in-law. I thought I was going to go through all that without any problem tonight.
That's correct.
Oh, well, okay. Now, any budgets that have to do with Pat Smith, you would have to recuse yourself. Mm-hmm. But you can be involved in the other budgets, just so long as you don't vote on the bottom line of those budgets. Okay? Yep. Justin, you're on the fire department. Okay. The same thing will apply to you. You can do all the budgets. You can approve any of the budgets except the fire department's budget. You're not to get in there. You would have to be recluse. Not recluse, but recused. Okay, but you will still be able to do all the budgets.
Mr. Chairman, so that means because I'm the selectman and I receive a stipend of 0.075 cents per hour a year, that I have to recuse myself from the town budget? Then I ask you this: why am I here sitting on the budget committee?
I guess hold it. Let me finish what I'm going to do, because I'm going to lose track. The other part of all this is the warrant articles. Okay? Wherever Pat Smith comes for warrant articles, there'll be some tonight. You should recuse yourself. That takes away the conflict. That would be the same thing with you, Justin, because there is one in there for the fire department. You recuse yourself. That will take away the conflict. Now, I didn't get in that far with that, Aaron. You know, it's the
I mean,
board,
it makes sense though, wouldn't it? If Peg's receiving a stipend for what she's doing, I mean, really, you're drawing it down to nickel and diming or pennying it to death.
Okay.
So,
Larry had his hand first, I want to see what he's got to say.
Let's, town administrator or anyone else, I will defer, please.
Okay, go ahead, Heather.
Mr. Chairman, the selectman's liaison is a voting member of this board, and so she has to vote.
Yes,
So she would have to vote on the town budget, because her vote is, she is voting for the board of selectmen. So to deny her her right to vote is denying the board of selectmen's vote on this budget. So
Okay, I'm not-
because she does get a minuscule paycheck, doesn't make any sense. So I think she does need to be able to vote for the board of selectmen on the budget.
okay, we got too many hands up here. Okay, I guess I didn't go that deep enough. I just took the board here. If there's some interest, you know, you do have the vote, and so does Justin, but when there's come to a point where he's getting something over there, it can be a conflict. Or there's a warrant article that, you know, would favor it. Okay, I don't know who had their hand first. Mark?
If you're gonna hold Tammy as her brother-in-law, and she can't vote because of her brother-in-law being the public works director, my sister works at the school department, so I can't vote for anything with the school.
You can vote everything in the school, except I have not been able to get through to the school. Okay, I don't know how to get there. All I did was talk to LGC.
I mean, because again, she's part of the whole school system. She works with the whole school system.
Okay.
Now, I did vote no for the teacher's contract,
I
which she
saw
didn't
that.
agree with, but again, my vote needs to be negated for the school department. Anything
But-
that, we need to relook at that, because it's in conflict of interest then, according to what you're saying. If Tammy's held to that account, I have to be held to that same account.
Okay, what does she do?
What did my sister do?
Yeah.
She works as a guidance counselor.
Okay, guidance counselor, okay.
So
but-
she sees all the students in the school.
Okay.
She's part of all the students in the school.
Okay, but she is guidance. If you get, I can only go what I'm trying to go by there. I could not get on the school board because I'm not a school board member or a principal or a superintendent. I couldn't get an answer for that. What you would do is, if we follow the same rules, anything that would benefit somebody in your family, okay, you're not going to vote, but you're going to recuse yourself. You had your chance, Larry, you wait for me.
No, I am. I'm.
Okay? Okay, now when it comes to the guidance, that's the only one, you would not vote on that bottom line budget on that, but you can run budget on the others. You can do the budgets on that and vote on them. Okay, I think Dave had his hand up.
Right, but I just wanted to clarify what he was asking.
Okay.
Only because I've been involved, and it should only be the teacher contract, because that is only directly helping her. So the rest of the budget, no. And I'm just saying this from my experience in Rochester and the school board, and who had to recuse themselves.
And again, when I was on the school board and when my son was a teacher, then there was times that I recused myself, because when it came to incidents that happened, I recused myself from that.
Right.
However, being the guidance counselor, she's touching all of it. She's touching anything, any purchasing. She's doing, it's a whole broad piece that she's touching. I understand what you're saying.
Yep.
I hear you.
Say that.
But it's more than just, she's touching the whole school, because she's in contact with all the students, purchasing, who needs computers. Her input is given to that.
My problem with this is I could not get information for the school.
I hear you.
He told me I should go to there, and I tried, but I'm not a member of the school. I can't get in and get an answer.
But what's fair for one is fair for them all. I mean, if it's fair that Tammy can't, then I've got to abide by that saying where I can't either.
Okay. All right, Dave, go ahead.
So we have a specific example this round of exactly what I think is expected, and that was when it came, there was a section of the town budget where money was being given to Haven. My significant other, I specifically abstained just for that. I still got to vote yay or nay on the overall budget, but when it came down to the, excuse me.
You got my chair.
Oh, is it? Okay. When it came down to the overall one, I still did. So I think what he's saying is, like, for the selectmen, just the one section where that's related, that her line item budget is the only she still gets to vote yay or nay over the whole thing, but it's also separated by the fact that she doesn't get a decision. Her vote is always whatever the selectmen already said. So, and the same with the school board rep. It's whatever, those two are covered from the perspective of she has to vote however the school board said.
Right, correct, with what the selectmen decide.
Right.
That's where their vote has to go with.
So she still gets the exact same vote as everybody else.
Yes, she does.
It's just been pre-decided in that instance.
When it comes to the selectmen rep, when it comes to
Right.
the school board rep,
Yeah.
yes, they have to vote with what their,
Yeah.
respective boards are. But you, me, Tammy, Tom, we all.
Yeah, for that one section, we're supposed to abstain for.
And so, again, my thing is, the way I look at her position and what she has to do, she covers the whole school.
Yeah, but the monetary, what she gets is a line item in the budget, so that section that her pay comes from is the only piece that you actually have to abstain from. The rest of it you don't. It's just
that one.
wherever the money comes from. So, to be honest with Justin, if we actually, which we don't, we're breaking down the fire department even further than it is. Only the line item that he could possibly ever get paid out of. Now, in this instance, it's the entire budget because we don't break it down that far.
But he's the water precinct rep. So
But he's not. But that's not a town budget line item.
That is a different entity. They are on their own. They have their own budgets. They're not part.
Right, but he's still the rep for the water precinct, so we didn't appoint him.
No.
He's a rep from the water precinct.
Okay. We did not appoint the selectman rep. We did not
Right.
appoint
Correct.
the pay. Larry, you got something? Go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
You can go ahead.
To the best of my knowledge and belief, the select board is operating under a 1992 resolution for code of ethics, which, although it may have been adopted by the board at the time, was not presented to the legislative body for a vote. Irrespective of that, there are three things. The statute provides for the members elected at large, and statute provides for a representative from the selectmen, a representative from the school board, and a representative from the water district, each of which is a legal entity. We do not have a right to determine which person from either of those three boards attends this meeting. The town has the ability to create an ordinance which is tighter in its construction than state ordinance, which you will find in the RSA 3139. If you read that in its entirety, the only recourse is an appeal for judgment to the Superior Court. The town does not have the authority to remove any member. Neither does this board have the authority to remove a member of either of those three entities. Interestingly, the fire chief has the sole power to hire and fire members of the fire department. I also think you misconstrue the purposes of recusal. Recusal is to the authority of the person themselves. It is not a judgment of the other sitting members. And I would like to suggest that the nickel and dime problems which you are bringing up are solved by the very act of statement in writing to the general public of what the relationship of individuals are. For example, it is presently common general knowledge, I know it, that Tammy is the sister-in-law of Pat Smith. The question is, what material, personal, or pecuniary benefit arrives to the Public Works Director by virtue of his relationship to Tammy Smith? We have a transparent budget. We have the salary of the DPW Director, which has been voted in by the voters of the town. We have the step salary for the DPW employees, which has been voted in by the town. The DPW Director has full control over his budget, may allocate lines as he wishes, and only if the budget is overspent or if there's a criminal procedure coming out of an audit is he at risk for any action under his control. The second question is, what personal benefit does accrue to any member above and beyond the general rights of a person in this town? Tammy may or may not have a dump sticker. Tammy may or may not get her road plowed to her complete satisfaction. Those are general benefits. In making a recusal, you have to say that you are concerned that a particular benefit will accrue to you above and beyond what is available to the general public. And any person who is so aggrieved by a vote has action at the Superior Court and can pay their money to find out. Absent that, we should be looking at the warrants.
So I guess what you're telling me is that what the attorney told me is not binding?
The question that you are asking is not the question that should have been posed to the lawyer in terms of the obligations of the RSA. Is it prudent in writing for each person on this board, if they have anything that would come under the terms of the ethics resolution, to state in writing for public review what their relationship is? Yes. Once having done that, if you say, I plan to do this, I have this interest, I do not believe it is significant. Once you say that, you're free to go. That's what the statute says.
That's not what the attorney said.
Again, the question you ask determines the answer you get.
Okay, I just brought this up because I want to take any suspicions of any, and some people may say, yes, I know there's somebody there, and they figure they're going to favor it. Okay, so I guess what you're telling me that all this that I put together is...
You got somebody waving their hand vigorously.
Okay, Heather.
Hi. I've been texting our town attorney, and I was at dinner, and he was kind enough to send me a text back as
All right.
he was being served. And I said, this is the issue. I said, there's concerns about having conflicts, and that in our board here, there really could be 5 people who, when I look around, could have conflicts because they get checks. And he said, between bites, because he just got served, hard to imagine why 5 people would have conflicts. This is not a quasi-judicial position. If the vote is on a member's salary or spouse's, then okay, there could be a conflict, but otherwise, doesn't make any sense. He's going in for more bites, so I explained to him what the issue is.
So based on the description you just gave of the various people, I am literally probably the only person who you could categorize that conflict of interest, because my spouse is paid for out of a line item, and that income could theoretically, part of that income could come in, which is why I specifically abstain. But you're not getting any money from Public Works, and you're not getting any money from your sister-in-law. I am my household is getting money.
She probably could give you money if she
Yeah,
wanted to.
but in my instance, that one line item, that was money that was going to an organization that's going to pay my spouse, and that's going to potentially come into my bank account. So I abstained from that section of it. That's exactly why that was the recommendation of my local friendly attorney, specifically for that line item, for that exact reason. But I don't think anybody else here does that fit. So,
Oops, Larry, you all done there, Dave?
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a reputation to preserve for small, irrelevant bits of information. The early chemist and alchemist Paracelsus said, "It is not the poison that is the danger, it is the size of the dose."
Okay, I guess we're done with that, and I guess what I'm going to do, go ahead, Tom, you had something?
Not at all related to what we just talked about. If we're done with that, something I'd like to mention if we're done with that topic.
We're done with it for the time being. I'm going to let this committee vote on the articles. If I can get anything that's been disclosed, it's up to the people to decide if there was a conflict. I've already brought it out, and the attorney told me one thing, I'm getting it another. So therefore, we're going to start these warrant articles. Yes, Tom?
I had a member of the public mention they were watching the video, and they said it'd be really helpful if we could be a little more clear after the vote what we voted on. He said he was watching the video, and it wasn't that he couldn't hear. He said it was just trying to follow what we were doing, because especially at the budgets, we were talking about a lot of numbers and this, and then we vote, and we never clearly said after the vote, this is what we voted on. The vote was 2, 3, whatever. So I might make a recommendation that if you want, I can read the vote after we get done, read what the article was that we voted on, just to make it clear for anybody watching the video.
Okay, what you want to do, Tom, go ahead. Read the articles, because I'm going to try and keep track as well.
And I've got a spreadsheet here,
okay,
too.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay, if we're ready?
Yep.
All right. Article 5, and some of the articles were deleted. I'm not going to try to adjust the numbers. I'm going to read the articles exactly as they are.
As they are. Those that have been deleted, they took them off.
But I'm not going to try to adjust the number. I'm going to read exactly what we've got on our paper.
All right.
Okay, Article 5, Highway and Road Construction. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $325,000 for highway and road construction purposes. Said amount will be partially offset by revenues from the Highway Block Grant, estimated to be $134,000. This will be a non-lapsing appropriation per RSA 32:7 Roman numeral 6 and will not lapse until completed or by December 31st, 2020, whichever occurs first. Majority vote required, and in pencil it's written 46 cents on the tax rate.
Correct.
Recommended by Board of Selectmen 3-0.
Okay. Yes, Larry?
I move to recommend Article 5 as written.
Second for discussion?
Okay, second by Tom. Okay, let's have discussion.
Well.
Okay, I guess there is none. I'm going to call the vote. I'll start with you, Tom.
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Tammy?
I'll abstain until we get this ironed out.
Okay. We'll put recuse. Justin?
Yes.
Peg?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
The chair says yes. We have
01.
801.
Okay. Article 5, Highway and Road Construction, passed 8-0 with one abstention.
Okay.
Okay. Article 6, Fire Department Equipment and Apparatus Capital Reserve Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $70,000 to be added to the Milton Fire Department Equipment and Apparatus Capital Reserve Fund, previously established for the purposes of funding future capital expenditures as described in the recommended 2019 to 2024 Capital Improvements Program. This appropriation will be funded by transfer from the fund balance, and no additional amount will be raised by new written in pencil taxation. Majority vote required, recommended by the BOS 3-0.
I move to recommend Article 6.
I second for discussion.
Go ahead, Tom.
Does anybody here know how much we have in that capital reserve fund at this time?
I forgot to get it. Okay, I should have asked for it, but I didn't get it.
Discussion.
I don't know if it's in here or not.
I wasn't planning to be here for this part of the discussion. I was here for the other part.
I can go run out to my car. I do have all my paperwork in the car, which probably
You got
has it.
Walk in the door.
I'm fairly sure.
No, that's okay, David.
I don't think I have.
Well, while she's looking, I'll look.
Which one is it?
I do not know. It's not in the article.
What is the line in?
I better give him a minute or two because he could actually be down. Okay. This is something I forgot to do.
That's all right.
There's so much.
Well, I forgot to send you an email and ask for it, Bob, so.
I don't know if I would have got that. Been down busy, very busy. There's so much to do here.
And if anybody's looking for these, well, I'll be asking the same questions for the rest of the capital reserve funds as well.
We should have it the next time around.
There's actually only two that you really need to vote on, and that's Article 5 and Article 21.
Yeah, so like,
So,
No, there's more than that.
Yeah, we have to vote on all of them.
no, because they're coming out of the fund balance. Is there anything
Well, I know,
to
but we
raise?
still have to vote on.
Because they're not coming out of, they're not raising it. They're not raising,
technically, no, but
you know, because they're not
I'm
raising
assuming she
funds.
found it.
Wow.
No.
So why did we reject school board ones
It is
then?
now.
Because they're coming out of the fund balance.
Fund balance, the town doesn't have a fund balance, the town
Right,
No,
but we can have fund balance. No, we have a trust fund.
Should be in there, but it might not be.
I think what we'll do is we'll get back to it if we need it. I mean, it's nice to see what there is in there. I can understand. I always like to see it myself. And that money, if it passes,
Right.
you'll see it. Okay?
Okay, so we have a motion on the table
Yep.
right now, so.
School's not allowed, the town is allowed.
Okay.
Oh, there-
We're going to continue on. I don't want to wait too long.
Yeah, there is.
I'll start with Mark. Article 6.
Article 6. And we don't know how much,
I'm working on trying to get.
Well, it's going to come out of the fund balance,
Coming out of the fund balance.
but we don't have the capital to see how much is in there. I don't think we ever got that from the town.
typically, because it's coming out of the fund balance, or I would have had that paperwork with me, but I wasn't expecting y'all to vote on anything other than 5 and 21, so.
Hurry.
Okay, so then without having the number, the question that we would be agreeing with is it prudent, given the size of the fund balance and the necessity for the materials covered in this warrant article, to fund this amount from that source? And to answer that question, you don't need to have a number at all.
Very good.
If you have zero, I might just different.
Right.
But if you have zero in the fund, then I would say absolutely yes, it is necessary. If you have $700,000 in the fund, I'd say
Yeah.
absolutely no, it's not. I believe we do need to know.
Yes, we do.
For me to feel good about voting yes or no, I need to know what that number is.
Mm-hmm. Agree. Oh, Lori.
Doug?
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
I know you have $389,000 from the school district.
No, we have the money in the fund balance to cover it.
Yeah, but I think the question isn't whether we have the money there, it's,
just how much do we have in there? And it-
Basically, fundamentally, is what percentage of the budget is $70,000?
Okay,
If it's,
this is based on the CIP. This is what they're planning
yeah.
down the
oh, yeah.
road. Okay? And I didn't
Well,
even bring,
we can have the vote, like I said, I just
We
really
can-
would like to know.
yeah, we can bring it back. Well, if you vote yes,
yeah, so what's the,
you won't find it there.
no, what's the rules of order, so to speak, way of retracting it? Can one of you just retract your motion and then we can
We-
just
we can-
skip it?
If we go to every capital reserve fund, it's what's kind of coming
These are,
out.
yeah, these are all based off of the fund balance. Is anything not?
5 and 21, they said.
Fund balance, fund balance.
21. 21? 20.
Here, all coming
What?
out of the fund balance.
17
Well,
isn't.
it's the second article, 21, on the last page. The town ramp, boat ramp.
95,000.
Do you have all of them?
No, I called somebody who had one of them. Roughly 95,000.
Okay, got 95,000.
Roughly.
Okay. Okay, any more discussion on this? Larry?
Yeah, the chairman brought up the point of the CIP. If you can bring to mind, thinking back over the last now almost 3 years, the capital improvement plan and the discussions of the major department heads have tried to keep a warrant total to about 500,000 with certain adjustments because of the size of a given item, so that that figure funds major capital costs above $20,000 and is a level expectation for what you can expect to pay for in addition to the operating budget. That's the background for why these are being pulled out of the word I just lost.
The capital reserve?
No, the fund.
Fund balance.
The fund balance, thank you. I'm going good there right to the end.
That's okay. I'm way ahead of you on that. Mark?
Okay, so it's my understanding, the school department, at the end of the year, monies that are left over, that they don't go to articles, that amount of money has to be returned back to the town.
Right, correct.
The town, on the other hand, they can hold, they raise the money, it gets appropriated, they can hold it. At the end of the year, if they do not use all of it, they can still hold it in reserve. What is that amount of money?
That, we don't have that
And
information.
you said 95,000?
Roughly 95,000. I'm trying to get
So-
it from the finance director right now.
So for the whole year, all you have left over from everything is just
No,
95,000?
no, 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 no.
Okay, so how much money do you have?
Oh, I thought you were asking about that first lineup.
No, I'm asking for total.
Oh.
Because you have, so you have what, 3 months, at least, it should be at least what, 3 months worth of, how much money do you have left over
From what?
from the budget?
2018?
2018, from 2017, 2000, carried over to 2018, how much money do you have left over?
We don't have a, we don't have a, we don't have a,
The different systems.
Okay,
At the
Tom?
end of the year,
Oops.
the school department has to return any monies that they do not use back to the town.
we do too.
The
We
town,
we have to return any money that we.
you can hold on to money. You can have a little slush fund. No, I don't want to say slush fund. You can have a reserve. You can hold on to that. How much money do you have?
Well, right now, the year just ended.
Yeah.
We haven't closed out the books yet. Bills are still coming in. I mean, the bank statements, it's not even the 10th yet.
Okay.
If I might, I think what Mark's question is what do you have a general idea what's in the fund balance right now in the Milton in our fund? Because that's where these are coming from is the unexpended fund balance. So any rough idea what we have in there? I think that would answer what Mark's trying to ask.
I think I can go by last year's, but I can't hit this year's yet, 'cause we don't.
Yeah, haven't closed the books and put money in, but roughly what was last year?
Well, last year we. Yeah, that's a good answer to the question. I mean, last year we had, what? The audit. What?
Grab the.
I can go get the report, but I mean, well, that's not gonna tell us, so last year we had 2.2, then we took 500,000 out. So that was, the first time 1.7. So, 1.7, and then
So
we had.
we'd probably be safe in saying somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million plus or minus 20%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got the 1.7, then we figured 275 for CIP funds. So that's where we were. Right.
Yeah.
Is that what you needed to know?
Yeah.
Okay. But, I mean, at the end of this year, we just can't figure out that yet because it's too close.
Yeah,
But there is a
they haven't
balance
closed the
there
books to
now.
give a firm number on what we have. Bring
All
right now.
hold it.
All of
Doug.
these.
Well, you might find it on your tax rate you set for the DRA. It has to be on that form.
I know, but we gotta wait till,
Well, you might be on the old ones.
yeah.
You would see it online.
Yeah, that's what, is that,
And
it
that's
is.
25 or whatever. you
And the
said.
737.
Yes.
It was the 2.2 minus the 5, because we took 500,000 out, that was the tax rate. Then we went and we planned 275 for the CIP plan. I mean, those are the
Yeah,
numbers I
so,
can tell you.
so we,
Yeah.
we could estimate it $1 million plus or minus 20%,
I mean,
probably.
That what we're looking at is apples, oranges, and a pastrami sandwich. The school and town have different statutory restrictions. The school must return its unused funds to the town. The town may, from monies that come in from stumpage fees, from licensures, from tax sales, put that money into the general fund. That's apples, that's oranges. In addition, revenues that were excess to the operation of the town for the year 2018 also are returned and go into the general fund. That's the pastrami sandwich. So you have two major systems and the small adjustments to each one of them. And
Are we all set with this? Okay, I'm gonna try Mark.
No.
It's no. Okay. Dave?
Yes.
No, wait, come.
Who was that?
That was Peg.
Oh, I thought you said Dave and Peggy.
I said Mark, then,
Okay.
Then you did say Dave or Peg?
yeah.
No, he
I
said
haven't
me.
got you in the same order, okay?
Okay.
I just put this in here because I'm trying to keep track. Okay, I had Mark. You said no?
Yes, sir.
Mark said no.
All right.
do you want to know what it's for, by the way? Did you guys want to know what that was for, that fire department apparatus?
Sure.
It was to buy air packs. He needs the money to buy air packs that expired this year.
Okay.
FYI.
All right, now I lost track.
Okay, we've got Mark and Peg.
did we end discussion?
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
all
We're
the way.
voting.
Okay.
Okay, now, wait a minute. Let me just, I'm playing around with this thing. I'm just keeping track of it. I had Mark that said no. Dave?
I'm saying the same thing as Peg, yes, so you conveniently.
Okay, now, all right. Now it's Larry.
Yes.
Tammy? You can
No.
vote on. Okay. Justin?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, recuse. Okay. And now Aaron?
Yes.
Okay, Tom?
Yes.
Okay, the chair says yes. It's 1, 2, 7-2. Motion passes. Wait a minute. No, 0,
No, it's-
7, 0.
it's-
No,
it's
6, 0,
6-2-1.
1. Yeah, okay. Wait a minute.
It
I
was
cannot choose to
6-2-1.
these. Okay, what is it now? 701?
621.
621. Okay.
Okay, so that was Article 6, Fire Department Equipment and Apparatus Capital Reserve Fund. It passed 6 2, and 1 abstention. Okay, on to Article 7. Highway Department Special Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $29,000 to be added to the Highway Department Special Equipment Fund previously established for the purpose of funding future capital expenditures as described in the recommended 2019 to 2024 Capital Improvements Program. This appropriation will be funded by transfer from the fund balance and no additional amount will be raised by new taxation. Majority vote required. Recommended by the Board of Selectmen 3-0.
I move to recommend Article 7.
I second for discussion.
Yes, Tom?
I would have the same question if anybody present knows what we might have in that fund balance, or in that.
We were unable to get a hold of the financial person. I didn't bring that with me because typically, again, I'll state Article 5 and Article 21, so.
I would say that, I think you did also get a presentation by the, Bruce Woodruff came in when he presented the CIP, and that information should have been in with that presentation. So I didn't know you were gonna be asking for this information tonight because it was presented with the CIP plan. I just came to, when I talked to Bob earlier, because he was concerned about that issue that was started.
Well,
Well,
had I thought of it, I'd have asked for it, but.
yeah, but it's still my fault for not getting it. Usually I always have that capital reserve fund in front because it's very valuable. Yes?
Mr. Chairman, would the town administrator have the detailed backup for that as you did for air packs?
I can go do some searching, but things got moved around. Let me go do some searching. It's probably in the finance office. We've been trying to keep her office secure, and I told her that we would not be purging from her office.
That's no problem.
We ready to move on? Or you want to wait?
We can call a vote.
Okay. I don't think I'll change the order this time. Okay. What I should have given this committee is I should have gave you the CIP, the capital year that we're gonna spend money, but the only thing is it would not tell you how much is in it. though.
Yeah, and that's
the only thing.
That's the electronic you sent, right? PDFs, the CIP?
Yep.
Yes, I did. That was, but trouble is they don't give you the capital.
Yeah, it doesn't have the balance.
Yeah, I don't think that had the balance of the
No,
fund
it don't, it won't, because at this time, the town should have put everything in the capital reserves for this last year. They have to, December 15th, I believe, they have to put all the monies that were done in the warrant articles in 2018, they have to put in the capital reserve. And I really feel bad, I just didn't have time to do it.
Don't feel bad.
I usually am on top of all this. I am slipping.
There are many people who would be happy to get down to your level of slippage.
I don't know how to take
So-
that. Oh, I see. Okay, are we waiting for some information here?
If you was gonna go try to see if we could find it, we could,
No, because with that, we could come back to,
It's gonna be on everyone, you're gonna wanna know it, so.
yeah.
She's gonna have to.
Did you know that it's easier to teach dog tricks than
You have not seen my dogs, I can tell.
because
We'll bring you over and let you meet my dogs.
your dog looks at It's in theory anyway.
Yeah.
yes, Doug?
You can lay this, you under Robert's rules? Is
Yes,
that what you're using?
yeah.
Yeah, more or
You
less.
can lay this aside temporarily.
But we're going to run into the same
We'll go
thing.
into it with-
Every one of these is every one of them is gonna have to have that, and
Although Article 10, Larry might know the answer for.
okay.
What the capital reserve for the library?
Yeah.
Have we not already established my mathematical credentials?
You
do
got
quite
really
well.
good memory, though.
Yeah, you do.
Dave, what's your email?
Mine? David Carpus, Gmail. David.carpus.
All right. I can't see this on this phone, it's too small, and I can't.
Oh, okay, so I can
So
zoom
check
it
and
out.
see.
Okay. But see, that'll give you the capital year, but if, what we have to do, we've never asked for it all this year. And
See if
So, yeah, I looked at that. That doesn't have the balance.
It didn't have it on there.
didn't-
Like I said, I
It won't-
couldn't get it to expand on my phone to tell if it had it in it or not.
no, they won't give you the balance. What this has to do is come from the trustees of the trust fund.
Yeah.
And I don't need the whole thing, all I need is the last 3 pages. They have the school, the town, the highway department, fire, and school is in there as well, and the water district.
Well, shall we table this when we jump to Article 21?
Oh, jeepers, I didn't even have that marked. 21. Oh, hold on for a minute.
The very
here.
last page. Look all the way to the back.
Because I happen to know how much is in that. If my memory serves from last night, Mary can correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, this one here is a petition warrant.
Well, shall we?
I think we don't, this is a petition,
The town boat ramp, is that the one you?
yes.
Okay, yep. Okay, so we don't
And
have to vote on it?
the selectmen did not make a recommendation. I'll have to ask Heather about that, but there is money in there, but I thought a petition warrant is not part of the regular CIP, because it got rejected. I'll have to make sure, because if we can vote on it, we could. We are going to bore people to death here.
If they turn the volume up, they can listen to our banter back here.
Oh,
Might
okay.
amuse somebody.
And we don't even get our 7 cents an hour.
I don't get anything an hour.
Yeah, but I heard they're gonna double our salary next year.
What, another zero?
Is 19 out of the fund balance? That's tax relief incentive.
Okay, is there
no.
a,
That
Yeah.
doesn't have money in it. I don't know that
no,
we.
no, nothing that,
vote on
So
that.
we don't even vote on that one anyway, never mind.
we don't, anything that doesn't have any money, that's it, we don't.
So the pointy-haired boss in Denver asks Gilbert to give me a new budget numbers. And Gilbert says, "Oh, no reclamation invoice I really would like."
Okay, we gotta do, we can't just sit here. We gotta kinda, but, you know, if you're not comfortable with the vote on it, we just
But I
can't.
mean, we can vote on it and decide. And if people are comfortable not knowing what's in it, I'm just,
Yeah,
I'm not speaking I'm just speaking for myself.
oh, no.
It's nice to know how much is in it, to know if it's a,
Maybe it is something I can get for the committee, and then. Yeah, Larry?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. One of the interesting things about reading about a conflict of interest is information analysis and viewpoint, which you reach by virtue of your office, is not prejudice and is not prejudging the issue. It comes out of your experience of the issue. So if you have a viewpoint and opinion, it does not mean that it is biased. Having said that, on the planning board, we spent several hours trying to rank the capital improvement projects that are listed department by department. And again, we did not, for that ranking, go to the fund balance and ask what the fund balance was. we tried to assess the relative importance and value to that great phrase, the health, safety, and welfare of the town, department by department. So, for me, the fund balance is going to be maintained by the town within, I think, the 3 to 8% that DRA recommends. Having said that, then you need to decide if retaining this amount and voting it up by recommendation is more important than voting this recommendation down, because as a group we see it as less important to the operation of the town.
We're dragging this out.
Well, if they went out for pizza, I'm going to be very mad.
I'm not, they couldn't bring any share.
Yeah, we do.
Like a collection.
It would be, if Karen Brown would have access to her computer, she could send it. But he would give you just what's in the capital reserve. But this is unusual for me to miss that.
Like I said, I could send an email reminding.
But if it's, so the number we were given earlier with the 1 million plus or minus 20%, is that the fund we're talking about?
Yeah, that's the, when they say coming from.
From the general fund.
Transferred from the fund balance, yes, that is the fund that you're
And
talking about.
these are all being transferred from one fund, that one?
From that, yeah, that's the source when it says it's coming from the fund.
Which means the thumbnail is 800,000 to 1.2 million is the range. Every single one of these added up all together is 295. So we're talking less than a third of what's in here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And not only that is, we're talking 295, we were just told by the school board that what's coming back just from them is more than that as it is.
Okay, thank you, Heather.
Okay.
Now we can move.
Thank you very much.
Can I just give you some information?
Okay.
This is the report from the trustee from last year. I don't have this year's because it hasn't amended up. There is more money that's been added to these funds.
Yes.
As from last year's warrants, but that were approved, but I haven't had a chance to do that. This at least gives you something to start with. You all had the CIP plan that was presented to you. I'm having trouble locating that, but at least gives you something to start with.
No, but
Okay?
yeah, well, the CIP won't give us what this is.
Well, the CIP will tell you what, the CIP will explain how the things are allocated. Okay?
Okay. All right, so we're looking for Article 7, Highway Department Capital Reserve, it should be in there.
Bob, may I ask a question reading this?
What's that?
May I ask a question just reading this report? We have about 45 different things.
Yep.
So I'm looking at the fire department. It was the second sheet because we got a balance of 95,000 and I'm seeing 145,000. What is it, the total principal and income that's left?
I believe that's what it is. You got the income, and then that's the total between the two. The income that came in, and then there's the balance.
Right, because we had principal.
They're different accounts. So the Article 6 specifically would come out of the fire equipment apparatus, and that total balance budget at the end of last year was 30,000. The assumption is it's at least 70,000 at this point, not 30.
I believe 60 was added at one point, or so. 60 is needed. I gotta check with the fire chief, but I guess he needs to buy air packs. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
Because I texted him. It was 30 was plus the 65 that was approved in March that goes into, that just went in, then he needs 70. He needs another 70 to buy air packs that will expire this year, so he needs air packs so he goes into burning buildings.
What we gotta do, I gotta go back bring it to the board, is how to follow those lines, because once it stop funding, something else will start. That's why we're gonna have 5 starters, and you can see as you go along, the 2017, 18, this is the capital year. You'll be able to follow it, and you can see where it stops, and that means it's done. Something else will start in. So, there's not a whole lot in there, Tom, the way I see it.
Yeah, well, not as of last year.
No.
I don't remember what we put in.
I don't remember either, and I don't
That's
have
what
that.
she
To the
just got
fire?
finished
Yeah.
telling us, that they
60,000.
put 60,000 in
Yeah,
last
for
year.
fire. For
Just
For
for the
fire
equipment.
apparatus,
Right.
just for
Okay.
equipment, so
We got highway special equipment. I'm seeing a balance of $832, but I know there's more money that went in.
Do we have any idea how much went in?
Last year? I'm trying to
Highway special?
Highway, no.
What I can do is probably get the book.
The only thing I have to do is, I can try to go find last year's warrants.
No, you know what it is? It would be in the 2018 is not out yet.
what would,
What were the warrant articles last year for the town? You can pull those up.
Something could be
That's the
taken,
of last year.
but, and then things could have been taken out of these accounts too. I
That's
mean,
$832.92. I can't remember.
No, you're not gonna be.
We haven't got many more to go, Larry.
Oh, no, I'm just admiring the
These-
beautiful blue of this,
all
this
these-
screen.
the
I
ones
have
that you-
it too.
no, those are all these.
okay, so here's the 2017, Tuesday, 2017 warrant articles. Article 4, highway road construction,
Oh, special equipment.
truck capital reserve fund, and that's it. So there wasn't a warrant article for
Yeah.
Special equipment?
special equipment.
Are you looking at 2018?
Hmm?
Are you looking at 2018?
Sorry. No, that was 2017. Sorry.
Sorry. We gotta get moving on this, because we're spending 10, 15, 20 minutes on this. It's supposed to be a short night.
Okay, here it is. Article 8, the sample bell, it was only 15,000 added to the special equipment capital reserve fund.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So best case, I got
16,000.
16,000.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, ready to call the roll?
Yep.
I'm gonna go back where I belong.
Don't need that.
I'm gonna start with you, Tom.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Tammy,
Abstain.
okay. Justin,
Yes.
Peg,
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Okay, the chair says yes. 801, if motion passes. Okay,
Okay. That was Article 7, Highway Department Special Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. The vote was 801, it passed. All right, Article 8, Highway Department Vehicle Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $49,000 to be added to the Highway Department Vehicle Fund previously established for the purposes of funding future capital expenditures as described in the recommended 2019-2024 Capital Improvements Program. This appropriation will be funded by transfer from the fund balance, and no additional amount will be raised by new taxation. Majority vote required, recommended by the Board of Selectmen 3-0.
Article 8,
Correct.
Okay. I move to recommend Article 8 as written.
I second for discussion.
What was Article 8?
Anybody,
Do you have anything in there?
any questions?
Just my usual one. This was highway department vehicle. I'm gonna guess that's highway truck.
Highway Department vehicle capital reserve last year was 50,000.
Okay, so best case they've got 93,000.
I don't know if that's the same. The only thing it doesn't have on these warrant articles
They
is,
got a new truck this year. Would that have come out of that?
that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, for about $40,000.
Okay.
So they've got roughly. That's right. They did get a new plow truck.
54,000.
Yeah.
They have 54,000, and this is using 49 of it.
Okay, so
Okay, we're all set. Call the roll. Tom?
wait a minute.
Yep, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, Mark.
Yes.
Dave?
Yes. Oh,
Dave.
is that Dave or Peg? I'm
Dave.
sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Larry?
Yes.
Okay. Tammy?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay. Justin?
Yes.
All right. Peg?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Okay. Chair says yes. 8-0-1. Motion passes.
Okay. Article 8, Highway Department Vehicle Fund. Recommended by a vote of 8-0 and 1 abstention. All right. Article 9, Municipal Buildings Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $50,000 to be added to the Municipal Buildings Fund previously established for the purpose of funding future capital expenditures as described in the recommended 2019 to 2024 capital improvements program. This appropriation will be funded by transfer from the fund balance, and no additional amount will be raised by new taxation. Majority vote required. Recommended by the Board of Selectmen, 3-0.
I move to recommend Article 9 as written.
Second for discussion.
I have nothing.
And
Heather, is that a new warrant? Because I don't see it on this one.
We're trying to find it right now.
What,
Yeah.
the Article 9?
Article 9.
Yeah, Municipal Buildings Fund, was there anything?
Larry?
Yeah, I believe that this comes out of the discussions for the age and condition of the present highway barn, which 15 years ago, the concrete blocks at the front doors would vibrate when the doors rolled up and down.
If that was the case, it would have been a study to get the
Engineering?
That's what I'm looking for. But it's not saying so here, though.
But
could it have been as a warrant last year to?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is it?
So last year was an Article 10, Establish Municipal Buildings Capital Reserve Fund
There it is.
There it is.
Were,
For how much?
Were any
for
funds?
50,000.
Okay, so best case they've
Okay.
got 50,000 in it now.
Yes.
They've
Yeah.
got 100,000. after this.
It was a totally new one last
Yep.
year, and it was
Okay.
set with 50,000, and
Okay, once this is updated, we'll see that.
Anything been
Yep.
spent? You know?
I don't believe we spent anything this year. We should. Well, no, because the building was hit this year, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So no.
No.
Insurance had to fix some of it.
Okay, so nothing's been spent this year.
so basically that just zeroes out the existing fund as it is,
What do you mean?
isn't it? That, well,
They have 50, they haven't spent any money, and they're asking for another 50.
Yeah, but this has not passed yet, so.
right, okay.
Okay, so everybody all set with that?
Yep, I'm set.
Okay. Tom, I got you right at the beginning. I got
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Tammy.
Is this?
This was on, it's okay. That's all, you're
Yes.
fine.
Just making sure.
Justin?
Yes.
Okay. Peg?
Yeah?
Aaron?
Yes.
Okay, chair says yes. Motion passes 9-0.
Okay, that was Article 9, Municipal Buildings Fund, passed 9-0 with no abstentions. Okay, Article 10, Milton Free Public Library Capital Reserve Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $52,000 to be placed in the Milton Free Public Library Capital Reserve Fund, previously established for the purpose of funding future capital expenditures as described in the recommended 2019 to 2024 Capital Improvements Program. This appropriation will be funded by transfer from the fund balance, and no additional amount will be raised by taxation. That does not say no. Majority vote required, recommended by the Board of Selectmen, 3-0.
Okay.
I'll make a recommendation and to approve Article 10 for the Milton Free Library Capital Reserve Fund.
Second for discussion.
Okay.
Discussion.
Yes.
The chair of the library trustees has no personal pecuniary interest in this item. It is basically related to governmental buildings. There is about $123,000 still left, of which we just got an award of $36,357 through LCHIP for the continuation of the repair and renovation of the building as a system, and planning ahead because, to use the same word from two comments back, irrespective of the population and location of the library, our obligation is to consider the full impact of ADA regulations and access to the building.
Okay. What I can see there's 24,670, and that's not counting the.
Didn't you just say there was about 100,000 in there, Larry?
No, I said
123,000.
we depending on which eye you cover and which construction estimate is coming in for which part of the tripart repairs and renovations, we expect $123,000 in additional repairs, which will go to the third phase, which has been funded by $36,357 from LCHIP, which requires a match of funds from the town. So the worst thing that happens is we can buy $1 for 50 cents.
Okay. Well said.
Peg's got a question.
Yes, Peg.
I just have a question because that 24,000 is just under the free public library, and down below it's the library repair and maintenance, which is what you're talking about. And there's what, $330 in that one. Is there? It all goes in the same place, maybe, perhaps.
Was that the fund?
I would agree with you absolutely, maybe, perhaps.
So was that the fund for the desks and the chairs and?
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
No.
don't we need all this for the repairs of place?
No.
Okay.
No, this was, I believe that 36,000 is part of the repair for the steeple.
Right, but
Yes.
that's the LCHIP grant. I'm just talking about what's showing here on the
Okay.
There are
trust funds.
you have remember I keep saying the limit of my math skills. I would have to have the absolute figures in front of me to show you that they are two different
Yes.
things under the same roof. We also cheerfully, in the most above-board fashion possible, lie, cheat, and steal and borrow money from government buildings, of which it is one. So, but yes, the two funds are related, but they were formed for slightly different purposes, which is why they have the slightly different names, and they do not exchange their funds.
Okay.
So,
Dave, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
however, by my math is, and unless I'm mistaken, last year there was 31,000. The warrant article was for 31,000. You're saying there was a match of a recent that 36,000 is not related
That
to this
the grant
fund?
was approved to be used in the future, effective December 7th, and just signed on by the selectmen.
Right,
So
but
it
it's
was
but it's
prospective.
related to it's this particular fund. It's the capital reserve fund is what that money is tied to for
Yes.
capital improvement of the building.
Yes, and
Okay.
but that $36,000 does not go into that fund unless and until we have done the work, spent our own $36,357. Then we get
Yep,
the
nope,
check.
understood. Where the math I was going with is what got put into it last year was 31. Theoretically, as long as we match, there's going to be 36 from the state. If we match just 36, between those three, that's only like $98,000. You indicated there is the current estimate for doing all of the repairs necessary, or all the repairs slated, is 123.
That figure which I have, which was given at one point in time by one contractor, was, comma, to the best of my recollection, comma,
Oh,
123.
yes. And by my math, with the 31 from last year, the 36 that would be a match, plus this 52 is roughly pretty much exactly what it's going to cost. To the best of your recollection from a contractor,
Yes.
the total amount that's going to need to be to fix the building. So this is,
Yeah.
this 52,000 is the last little bit, along with what was added last year,
And
plus
the
the
grant.
match to finish off the building,
Yes.
if my math is correct.
If,
And what you indicated, if the 123 is to the best of your recollection,
and we are hopeful that we will not have to use hand-cut cedar shingles for replacement.
Okay.
So that was the math I wanted to verify, is the fact that
Yeah,
it's like
thank you.
this 52 plus what was last year, plus what
That's-
came from the state, is about what you are estimating the final finishing up of all of the repairs needed.
Seriously,
On the library.
that is clearer than I have it. Thank you.
All set, huh?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna call a roll. Tom again.
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes?
Larry,
There being no pecuniary or personal interest, I vote yes.
okay, Tammy,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Peg,
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Okay. Chair says yes. Motion passes 5-0.
At 9.
9-0. What did I say 5-4? I got a number stuck in here. I think I paused too long.
And that was Article 10, Milton Free Public Library Capital Reserve Fund. Was approved by the Budget Committee, a vote of 9-0. Okay, Article 11, Milton Technology Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $6,000 to be placed in the Town of Milton Technology Fund, previously established for the purposes of funding future capital expenditures, as described in the recommended 2019 to 2024 capital improvements program. This appropriation will be funded by transfer from the fund balance, and no additional amount will be raised by new taxation. Majority vote required. It was recommended by the Board of Selectmen, 3-0.
I move to recommend Article 11 as written.
Second for discussion.
There is $6,000 in there now, not counting if there was anything last year. I believe this is an ongoing thing. This is gonna go on for a while, if I can remember
Yeah.
the chart. So it's gonna be like 6,000 a year.
Yeah.
So 6,000 got put in last year, nothing's been spent out of it to speak of.
Was there a warrant last year? Because our paper's 2017.
Okay,
Yeah,
this is where it
the warrant
started.
from last year was
Yeah.
for 8,000.
Okay, so there should be roughly 14,000.
Yeah.
I think.
And they haven't
Okay.
spent anything based off of
Okay, this was established in 2017, that's when the CIP started.
Okay,
Yep.
so with this, there would be a total of about $20,000, assuming nothing's been spent.
Yeah. Any more discussion?
Um,
Go ahead, Dave.
No, I'm just curious, just like, so we've been adding to this, has anything been spent out of this?
No.
And this is to update technology, so replace computers, and this is covering not just the town office, but the public works, and does not cover police and fire.
No.
And the same question I asked out of the school related to technology, do we know, like, how many systems is this supposed to end up replacing?
14.
About that. It's about that. Each year you do so many of them.
Well, and that's the reason I asked the question of how much has been spent out of it. I was expecting each year some
Because
percentage of them
yeah.
should be replaced, and that should be
Yeah.
a continuous thing, but it's like, we're gonna wait until we have enough to replace them all at once?
The
And then
idea
replace them
that
all
I
at once again.
remember, it was supposed to be a little at a time, because we couldn't do them all at once because of the cost. He was supposed to do so many each year. That was the last I can remember that.
Right, but we put 6 in, they
Yeah.
haven't spent it. We put another 8 in, they still haven't spent it. This is another 6, and they
6.
still haven't spent it. At this point, one more year, and they should have enough to replace every computer all across the board.
If I had that CIP chart, you can see how far it's gonna go. It's goes for a ways.
Yeah.
We're planning to do some computer repair right now.
What's that?
We're planning to do some right now. I know there's bindings.
Okay.
And there's some that need to be done. We just haven't had the chance to order them and get it all cleared.
Yeah.
Okay, just,
Okay, that's not a problem, Dave. That's good. Any more discussion? Larry?
If the, possibly, Aaron, you or Heather might remember better than I, in terms of that wonderful experience we had being hacked,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, I should have just used the H word. This will provide for any internal controls which will reduce that kind of problem that is also relatable to this fund?
That's more like with our IT people, but we can pray and hope. I mean,
this is hardware expenditure, this is purchase of new computer, it's like, and the hack was actually a problem on the server end, not on the individual computer end. The emails that were being sent out as saying they were the town
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the individual computers that were in here, it was the server.
And so,
And that was covered by a line item, a budget line item
Okay.
in the town for the website replacement, which also includes fixing the email system, which is what the problem actually was.
thank you.
Mark?
So again, just to go back over it again, Bob, you said that it's your recollection that we were going to do a little bit at a time.
Yes. That's the whole
But
plan.
that
they
was-
have not
And
so far.
how much so far do they have in that fund?
Six.
Right now, close to 14, or it should be around.
With the warrant from last year.
Yeah.
Well, it started with 6, and the warrant from last year was 8.
6,000, yeah.
So just those two, it's 14,000, and then this is another 6 on top of that. So this will put it to total of 20.
So in the past 2 years, you haven't replaced.
I know that, for instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We should really be replacing 6.
But you had the ability, you had the money, and you had the ability to do so, and you
We
haven't.
just haven't done it. I mean, like I said to them, right now I have the computer guys out twice in the past 2 months. My computer, I don't even know what you call it, it's shot. I've got it duct taped literally together. But I use it so much, I'm like, I've got to get a new system in there, we've got to do something. And they said, okay, tell me when you're going to be down for 4 days, and we'll get this system ordered and planned on. mean, there's other computers too that would need to make a plan to get forward.
But I guess I'm kind of confused that you've had the money
And we haven't spent it.
and you're not spending it, but you want more money.
Because they haven't, so they also switched IT providers over the past year. It's like, so there was definitely a transition where you're not going to have the old guy replace the old IT provider updating those systems, and the new people correctly are not going to advise on any particular upgrades until they actually find out what's all is in the system. So at this point, that's why they're saying they're ready to start replacing some right now, because it makes total sense that they haven't replaced any over the last 2 years because of that.
That has nothing to do with hardware, though.
Yeah,
Changing.
yeah, it does. Because nobody in the town is knowledgeable to do that. You have to wait until you have your IT provider who's going to help make the recommendations on what to replace them with.
There's other thing coming on the back of my computer you understand, but I could show you.
I'm not questioning your computer. I'm not questioning how much duct tape you use for your computer. What I'm questioning is,
Why? For the way it's long.
why are you waiting? You have the money. You have the money, but you're not using the money.
Just trying to get
But you're asking for more money.
the IT people in to do it, and I know if we do this, the ones that we do, then we have to have a plan to do the next one. We have to have a serious, rotation to go through.
And if I go on Dave's line of thinking that I'm not happy with the IT person, okay, I'm going to get a new one, and then if this new person doesn't work out, I'm going to go for another one, then I'm never going to replace the computer, because I'm going to wait for the one that I really like, which could be 3 or 4 years down the road, and you're using 4 rolls of duct tape instead of 1. So,
Put that in your budget.
again, it's still confusing to me. You have the money, but you're not using the money, but you want more money.
Well, we have a quote right now on the computers we need, so we're going to do it. We've got to get them done.
Okay. Thank you.
Peg?
And my concern is if you're taking the money and you're going to replace all these computers, rather than incremental doing 3 or 4 this year, 3 or 4 next year, all of a sudden, when this bunch of money buys a whole bunch of new computers, in 4 or 5 years, it's going to be the same amount of money to replace all of those computers. Anyway.
That's what we're trying to plan this out.
Well, I know, but if we haven't replaced any and yours is duct taped together, I believe it.
I think that's going to be a continuous one for quite a while. If I wish I would have brought my chart. You have the chart there. You can almost see it yourself.
Yeah, just to.
Go ahead, Dave.
I'm not trying to be on the other side of the table and justify is the fact that it's like with the transition of the IT maintainers, the only other thing that would have been prudent for the town to have been able to possibly have done would have involved them having some kind of addition, like a committee of town members that had the ability to make the recommendations on hardware independent of the IT people. But in the meantime, it was one of the two things. You wait until you get your new IT people settled in to advise you correctly once they're settled in, or you get somebody that's not the IT people to advise you on what to get. But I would never ask my parents to go pick out a computer on their own. I'm like, they would need to go ask me or somebody else what should they get. The towns was in the same situation. They're not just going to order random computers off of Dell. They should be ordering what is appropriate for each individual computer as a replacement. Does a particular town member, a town employee, need a laptop or a desktop? Well, a good IT person should be able to tell you what they need. And we just didn't have a good IT person until this, like, last year.
Okay, I think we beat this thing pretty darn good. Are we ready to vote on this? We're all set. Okay, Tom, go ahead. You
Yes.
got questions?
I'm good.
Okay, Larry?
Just eventually, it would be nice to be able to say that provider A and provider B both agree that you need computers that can perform X, Y, and Z services. And then there's a matrix that lists out how many computers, their age, the amount they're used, and the functions those computers have to perform, and a replacement age plan for them. My understanding is that because of the switches and my limited understanding, that the town is not yet at the point where they can say with authority, we need 5 computers with an ABC capacity, 6 computers with a DEF capacity, and 2 major computers that can do A through Z. When that happens and nothing breaks, you'll buy them. Is that a fair summary? Within my technical limits, yeah, okay.
Okay. We all set? We all set? Okay. All right, Tom,
Yes.
Mark,
No.
Dave?
No.
Okay. Larry,
Yes.
Tammy,
No.
and Justin.
Yes.
Peg,
No?
Aaron,
Yes.
and Chair will say yes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Motion passes 5-4. We check again. 1,
That's
4, 5. Yep. 2, 4, 5, 4.
That's
Motion.
not what I got.
No? What do you got?
I got
1,
4, 5.
1, 2, 3,
Motion failed.
4. I put yes on mine.
Yes.
You, me. Larry was yes. Aaron was yes. Peg was no.
I had 4 no's, 5 yeses.
Yeah.
That's what I
Who,
have.
who was
that's
the
what I
other?
Just was a yes.
You see,
Oh, oh,
it's okay.
okay.
Motion passes 5-4.
Yep.
That's all right. It's good to check.
Okay. And Article 11, Milton Technology Fund, was approved. Vote was 5-4.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Article 12, Geographic Information System. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $2,500 for the purpose of continued upgrades of the public web-based Geographic Information System, GIS, for the town as described in the recommended 2019 to 2024 Capital Improvements Program. This appropriation will be funded by transfer from the fund balance, and no additional amount will be raised by new taxation. Majority vote required. And I do not have the Board of Selectmen's vote on this piece of paper.
I move to recommend Article 12 as written.
Second for discussion.
Okay. And she's gone. I don't see it here. I think
That was a new one.
I think it was a new one.
It was.
How did you do that?
3-0.
Okay.
Okay. BOS 3-0. All right.
Last year, it's 8,000. And am I correct in the system was the core system was actually purchased with that 8,000?
Correct.
And this 2,500 is to add.
9,000 and something dollars we just spent on it. So.
And this is to add which particular capabilities onto it? Do you happen to?
I don't have my book from last night. I have my budget book. So I want to say that I remember what Bruce had last night.
I think is this like a maintenance line?
No, it's not a maintenance
No.
line. So what it is it's that software comes as a core piece.
Yes.
And then you add on pieces to it. So
One-
the
one-
core they purchased,
Okay,
and this
that-
might
yeah.
add like
One slice,
rows
yeah.
or
Yeah, this. Yeah,
One
this-
slice of pizza at a time.
yeah.
Yep, that's it. I used the wrong word.
We just finished the contract for mapping the town.
this is just to add more information in there.
Yeah, this is, the GIS systems are based off of layers, so this
Yep.
is adding an additional
additional
one
one.
or more layers,
Oh.
and that was that was what my question was what layers is this adding?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. David, do you know the nomenclature? There's a backdoor system which is sequestered for the use of police and fire. It's an enhanced. And I believe we're moving toward the purchase of the enhanced.
This is the GIS layer that's targeted specifically for fire and police.
I believe so.
Okay, and I think Aaron went to go try and double check that.
The 911E.
Yeah.
It is the maintenance contract.
Yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
this is just
Yes, it
maintenance.
is.
This is not additional layers or anything.
No, that's correct.
Just the maintenance.
No, it's asking for continued upgrades.
Yeah, that's what's
Correct.
confusing me. Is
That's
this
what
isn't
maintenance is,
really
it just-
It's gonna keep going.
Well, an upgrade is, to me, is different than maintenance. I mean, you're
maintenance.
adding something to the program.
This is just for the maintenance of this money.
So should this be rewritten?
Yeah, this wording does not sound like it matches what the dollar amount's for.
Let me check with Mr.
Is Heather looking for something, or?
No, she's in talking with Mr. Schultz.
Oh, okay. So,
This should be in the CIP.
it is. It really, all this is in the CIP.
What's it say in the CIP?
I just don't have it with me.
I thought David had it right there.
I have the CIP, I just can't read it. It's too small. I'm gonna hand that down to Bob, see if he can find it.
Okay, this might take me a while.
Pardon?
This might take a while. But it's, just got started. Couple improvements. I tell you, if I can find the chart, it'd be a lot easier.
I know, they, my
Which
estimation is you don't see.
Which chart? I have two.
The capital year. That's the one I'm looking for, because you can see, I got everything but, what's that?
I'm sitting here in the budget committee meeting. I've got the Article 12 for the GIS. We've got $2,500 for the purpose of continued upgrades of the public web-based geographical information system. Is this for, in what respect are the upgrades? Is this upgrades or is this maintenance? And what's the new,
Okay,
what are the new ones currently adding?
okay, this is going to be a continuous item. It's a geographic information system, 5-year plan data sets. So this is going to be adding data to the GIS. And this is a continuous one that's going to go all the way to 2024. And the total cost of that will be $17,500.
Gotcha.
So it's a continuous. It's just a data sets that they're going to be adding more data to this. It's going to be more and more each year. Or it's a maintenance part of it to keep it add-ons.
Okay, not to cut you off, but
Maintenance,
let me
maintenance.
give him this info.
There's a white pickup truck with a plow in the car.
That's right.
Horn, alarm going off in the parking lot.
What is, oh,
What is it, a white one?
okay.
White pickup truck.
Hey Bruce, I've got the answer. So,
Fix that.
let me go, okay, thank you, I don't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
All right, thanks, bye. sounded like Larry there for a second. Sorry. I'm just kidding. All in good humor.
Okay, did we get everything answered?
The total amount of money in that is going to be in the neighborhood of not quite $20,000, he said. And each, what their intention to do with it is, as each layer is added, they'll get with the department heads, decide which ones are going to be the most important. Do we need the water overlay? Do we need the sewer overlay? Do we need et cetera, all the way through?
Okay, good.
So it's a continuous upgrade until we reach where it needs to.
Okay, so it is an upgrade, not,
It is an upgrade,
okay.
Yeah, it's an upgrade.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
That's
what
where the data sets come in.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Mark,
That's
get
And
that?
the data sets are going to be we're not saying this is for this data sets. The department heads will pick what
Right.
data sets they need.
Exactly.
What's more important?
What's the most important for the town?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Okay. All set?
Done?
You ready, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
okay, Justin,
Yes.
Peg,
Yes.
okay, Aaron,
Yes.
all right. The chair says yes. Motion passes 9-0. How could I forget that one? That one came out all right.
Okay, Article 12, Geographic Information System, was approved 9-0.
And by the way, one quick statement, having actually worked in a company that wrote GIS software,
Yeah.
if we're only going to end up paying about 20 grand for the layers we need, we got a pretty cheap deal. The software we wrote that you use to make those layers,
Yeah.
just that software cost 20 grand, let alone the layers if you were to purchase layers independently.
Okay. Let's see, Article 13, Bridge Capital Reserve Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be placed in the Bridge Capital Reserve Fund previously established for the purpose of funding future capital expenditures as described in the recommended 2019 to 2024 Capital Improvements Program. This appropriation will be funded by transfer from the fund balance, and no additional amount will be raised by new taxation. Majority vote required. It was recommended by the BOS 3-0.
I move to recommend Article 13 as written.
Second for discussion.
Mark,
Is this for the bridge or to replace Curtis's Bridge or new bridge on Townhouse Road? Or is this for all bridges in town?
This is the bridges in town, not the one that goes across and touches me.
So for all-
These are like Winding Brook and.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically it's listing in the line, Townhouse Pond Road and Winding Hill Road are the two.
So it is for Townhouse Road.
No, because that's the main one.
Well, wait, no, 25, no, that's just, okay, this is just Winding Hill.
Just
This
Winding
is-
Hill?
This 25 is just Winding Hill.
okay, it's not listed as such, so.
Well,
Larry?
parenthetically, I believe there are 5 bridges that cross the town. There's over on Thurston and heading into Farmington, and then there are 3 bridges in Milton Mills. And,
So it's the town bridges.
you know,
Dave, do you see on there, was this established last year? 'Cause I don't
Yes.
see it listed, okay.
Yep.
For the same amount, 25. And this is specifically as described in the recommendation, it's like the Townhouse Pond Road is zeroed out on this, so that's explicitly not in the CIP,
6 bridges.
There was another warrant article.
separate
It's been
for,
crossed
separate
out,
rate
yep,
for
yep.
that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, ready to vote? All set, Tom?
Okay.
All right, Tom?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Peg,
Yes.
Aaron.
Yes.
Chair says yes. Motion passes 9-0. Oops.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and that was,
I need to leave.
Okay.
You already have my vote. I
Yes.
vote how I voted last week.
Yeah. You.
But I have,
We have one left to go. So, and I know you voted that way. I'll just put you in.
okay.
Okay. You have to
I
leave.
An emergency.
Okay.
all right, that was Article 13, Bridge Capital Reserve Fund, and it was approved by the Budget Committee with a vote of 9-0. Okay, Article 14. Excuse me. Article 14, eradicate European naiad invasive species. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,000 for the purposes of eradicating the invasive plant species in the town of Milton. This is a special warrant article as described in and recommended 2019-2024 Capital Improvements Program. This appropriation will be funded by transfer from the fund balance, and no additional amount will be raised by new taxation. Majority vote required. It was recommended by the Board of Selectmen 3-0.
I move to recommend Article 14 as written.
I second for discussion.
Yes, Peg.
Okay, we're gonna eradicate the invasive plant species from the town of Milton. The lakes is crossed out. I mean, why? Because
Probably because it should have actually indicated lakes and rivers.
Except we didn't have a link.
so I mean,
Okay.
if this is the final warrant article, it's
What it is, what I understand from last night, there's other species that are not in the waters around. There are others in the area that are invasive. That's what I understood last night.
Okay, but then what you're saying is this warrant article now just suddenly went
Yeah.
from, let's get rid of European naiad out of the water to let's get rid of any invasive species that exists
and we've got the
in
wrong
the
title.
town.
We've got the wrong
The
title.
title
on it.
does no longer matches what the
Right,
warrant
correct.
article is.
So that should be, the lakes should not have been crossed out, because that's where we really need to focus on.
Correct.
Larry, go ahead.
Milton includes the bodies of waters within it.
That's right.
And to which it is contiguous to the state of Maine.
Right.
The difficulty is that glossy buckthorn and euphorbia, burning bush, are both, for example, invasive species on land. And in last night's meeting, the danger was raised that we could somehow transfer the funds from this most vicious invasive in the economic driver of the town and take out Grandma's rosebush instead. I don't think it'll happen.
I have a burning bush. Are they
Yes,
gonna come
it's an
take care of
invasive
mine?
species.
I know it is.
Yes.
It's big.
Okay. Is Heather still here? No?
No.
Oh.
Okay. I think what is it, the lake should not have been crossed out, but the selectmen did that.
Well, not only that is this got changed.
Okay, go ahead.
Last year, the article specifically was to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 for the purpose of eradicating the invasive plant species European naiad from the water bodies in
Yeah.
the town of Milton. So this is now changing the purpose of the fund to include plant species that aren't European naiad, because this is specifically not nowhere in here does
You're
the
correct.
article say European.
Yes, special warrant article.
Yep.
And you
Oh,
can't
and-
change.
It's not a, no, excuse me, it's not a fund. It is not a
No,
named-
you're right, it's not a
not a
fund.
named fund.
It's
So-
just a regular
It is
article.
a special warrant article.
Yes.
So it does not have to have a named fund and a particular purpose. This is, last year it was X, this year it is Y.
Okay, last year it was specifically focused on naiad. This year it's not. This year it's more generic, but the title seems to indicate that it's
Yeah.
specific.
Which is why I was picking on Grandma's rosebush. But,
Yeah.
So do we
Yes, Peg?
change the title? I mean,
No, we can't do that.
Well, I know, but I
It
mean,
is, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
It is not a dedicated fund into which only money for a dedicated purpose can be made. It was the expressed will of the legislative body to spend that fund last year for that purpose. This year, the voters will be asked to spend this dollar amount for this purpose, given the description to which it can be used.
I think at that part's clear. I think what's clear is it's misleading in the fact that the title says European NIAID, but the actual text, which is the functional legal thing, allows them to spend it on anything. So if I weren't paying attention to this meeting or this conversation, and I read this and I didn't read it clearly, I'd be like 5,000 or 10,000 to get rid of. We still have a problem with European NIAID and we need 10,000 more? Okay. Except that's not what this actually is anymore. Which is...
and I agree with Dave.
Yeah.
To me, it's...
So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But since we can't change it effectively, all we can do is make a motion to...
Well, we vote to approve or disapprove as it's written, so.
Yes, we can do that. But
And individual people, if they feel strongly it's misleading, can just vote no.
Bring it up at the town meeting and change the word.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, that's the other aspect of it. Even if I'm correct, even as budget committee members at the town meeting, we can even specifically say, I want to change the title so that it matches correctly or something like that.
You can do that, we can change the amount, you can do a lot of things at that deliberative session. There's nothing
That
to
we
say.
can't do here.
No, we can't, but we can only do it there. Okay, is there any more discussion on this? If not, let's call the roll. You all set, Larry?
Yeah, I with the proviso that if you really want to bring that up at the deliberative, consider abstaining so that you're not against it. The abstention will count as a no, but you're not saying no.
I guess okay, I understand what he's saying now. You're in a neutral territory.
Yeah, that exactly, trying to be neutral territory. In 5 billion years, it'll be taken care of.
Okay, we're all set?
Mhm.
Okay, Tom?
No.
Oops, wait a minute, my pen ran out of ink. Okay, Mark?
No.
Dave?
No.
Okay, Larry?
Yes.
Okay, Tammy?
Yes.
Okay, Justin?
Yes.
Peg?
A, abstain.
Okay. Aaron? Oh, she's gone. She said yes anyway. She voted yes on this.
Since she's not here to give her vote, do we count her as a yes?
Well, she said before, she asked
No,
before, she had to leave because of an emergency.
She's not
But she
here.
has to be here, and
But she has to be here to vote.
Yep.
She,
Okay, we're not gonna make an argument of it. It's not important.
It just,
Okay, so,
you can't vote for it, you're not here.
okay, if I'd have known that, she would have stayed. Well, she had an emergency.
Yeah.
Okay, she has said yes. What we got here? 1, 2, 3.
we're 3-1.
1, 2, 3. I got 4. You got 4, 3, and 1.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yep, and so the motion passes. Just barely.
Yep. Okay, Article 14, to eradicate European NIAID invasive species, passed 4-3 with 1 abstention.
I know there was another one, but that is a petition article, and I don't,
Well, what's 17?
17?
Everything is crossed
There's
out.
nothing monetary in it.
No, nothing.
There's no
Okay.
dollar amount.
Okay.
There's no dollar amount in 19.
Everything else is
And then the
crossed
last
out?
one is 21.
Since it was a petition article, I don't think we vote on that. did we?
With the selectmen?
No.
No.
Well, it's not recorded here if they did.
Not recorded.
No.
It's a petition article. And I'm not familiar whether we do it. I know there's a dollar amount in there, but the selectmen did not. they didn't do anything with it last night, did I
I
know?
don't think they did because it was a petition form.
Yeah, I think that's something.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not part of the
Does have
CIP.
warrant.
Because this did not pass the CIP again. So that's why somebody put it in as a petition
Yep.
warrant.
Not that you had
Yeah.
the CIP, you had a table of
The boat ramp,
contents.
so.
And for those watching that are so riveted to the screen, Article 21, Town Boat Ramp Revitalization and Construction, submitted by petition. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $15,000 to be added to the Milton Recreation Capital Reserve Fund, previously for the purpose of renovation and reconstruction of the town-owned boat ramp, as described in the capital improvement plan. This project was not recommended in the 2019 to 2024 CIP. This amount will be added to the existing $15,000 that was appropriated in 2017 for anticipated construction to begin in 2019. Majority vote required. There's a penciled in 1 cent. I'm assuming that means that there would be a 1 cent burden on the taxes if this was to pass. 1 cent per thousand on the taxes if it was to pass.
Okay, but I don't,
And I do not believe that since it's a petition article that we have to vote on it.
no, because this, if you look, this is the proposed warrant article based on CIP. So that one there did not make it. That's gonna be a separate article that hopefully they're gonna finish it off because there's already $15,000 already in the capital reserve for it. They just need the other 15 to complete it. Okay, that's the end of the warrant articles. Is there any other business that may come before the board? Is there any business that anybody wants to bring up? Okay, seeing none. Questions or comments from the public? Yes.
You guys are great. I'm still awake.
Oh, something's wrong.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that.
You guys are phenomenal. To last this long and all the numbers, I turn off on numbers.
You didn't have a copy to follow.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
2 plus 2.
Okay.
It's 5.
Oh, wait, sorry.
Again, going along with the petition article, if you go back to discussions that the selectmen have had, as well as looking over the CIP documentation, there is still considerable concern as to what path forward will do best for the boat ramp. That's fairly neutral.
Okay, any other questions, comments, or anything? Okay, the next meeting is January 10th, 2019. The snow date will be January 11th, 2019. This is the Milton School District public hearing that will be held here. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
2 motions to adjourn, 1 motion second.